Regarding the supposed U.S. bombing in Marawi, Secretary Lorenzana serves a warning to all. Even leading news networks can get it wrong and fall prey to false reports and fake news. Being careful and always double-checking reports, especially online material, are a must before sharing and acting on anything. Let us help one another in fighting fake news. We're open to a few questions.
Questions? Pia Ranyada.
Good morning, sir. Sir, in the schedule of the President, we saw that he will be meeting with the Teodoro couple.
Yes.
May we know what they will be discussing during these two separate meetings?
We don't have details regarding that matter. I did check because you asked, but I wasn't able to get any details. Thank you.
Hannah Sancho. Microphone, please.
Sir, wala pong relation sa... tinawag po ba yung couple, sir, para makatulong sa Marawi rehabilitation?
Wala po akong detalye patungkol doon. As soon as we can get, we'll...
Sir, same question dun kay Chair Isa regarding dun sa possibility na ibalik yung National College Entrance Examination para po daw maiwasan yung exodus po sa SUCs. Palace statement kung susuportahan po.
Ma'am, we will have to refer that to CHED, and then as soon as we can get a report, we'll get back to you.
Okay. Laila Salaveria, question?
Good morning. Sir, on
Yes,
the
ma'am.
Uber issue, some commuters are saying that the suspension actually deprives them of a service that they need because of the inadequacy of public utility vehicles. Sir, what is the Palace's assessment on public transportation, and what do you think could be done to improve this?
Ma'am, in general, I don't have a comment. We leave that to the DOTR. But however, regarding the Uber matter, we said we do empathize with the traveling public. It affects everyone, including us at times. On the other hand, that's exactly why we wish that the LTFRB and the Uber situation should be completed as soon as possible. It should be addressed and it should be resolved as soon as possible.
But do you see a need to, at the same time, institute reforms in public transportation or improvements?
That is for the DOTR to
Okay, follow-up?
address.
Thank you.
Ina Andolong.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, in Davao City, the taxis are a lot more efficient. They do not decline passengers. Is the
Yes.
President aware that in the country's capital, it's totally the opposite? I mean, marami pong complaints
Yes.
coming from commuters because of these taxis, because I believe when he was still mayor, he was very tough against taxi drivers who say no to passengers.
Yes.
Has he ever expressed his position on this?
As far as I know, he has not. We have not heard any comment. I have not heard any comment regarding that. However, that matter ought to be addressed by the local government. I mean, it was, after all, Davao City is, after all, under a local government, and the effectivity of the local transport there was due to their firm stand. So I would suppose that the political will exercised here would
In a
give
way,
us more
sir,
efficiency.
I do recall that at one point the former mayor would paano ba to? Medyo he made some taxi drivers. He would confront abusive taxi
Yes.
drivers in Davao City. Is that something that are you saying that maybe local
I'm not saying.
governments
I mean, the style is
or
different.
just take a
because
tougher stance? I mean,
A tougher stance. You should be. There should be firmer implementation of the law.
Follow-up? Joseph Morong.
So just to be categorical about it, the palace agrees with the LTFRB's decision to suspend, no?
It understands the situation and therefore will support LTFRB.
When you say empathize, is it not going to be equivalent with government action naman to soften kind of the effect of suspending it for a month?
No, the point simply is that it should be resolved as soon as possible.
Okay.
Should be resolved as soon as possible and ease the traveling situation, especially in NCR region.
Is it possible to shorten it? I mean, it could be less than a month.
Um, that I cannot presume on. I cannot presume on what their actions are, but the sooner that the said institution complies, then the sooner these things will be resolved.
Oh, sir, thank you.
Okay, Pia Reñada.
So just more on the Uber issue. Some lawmakers are saying, especially si Senator Grace that the sanctions on Uber aren't commensurate to the violation. She, for example, is suggesting that it would have been better perhaps to fine Uber instead of suspend their operations given the large impact on commuters. What's the palace take on this? Are there other ways that you would suggest for this issue to be tackled that won't harm commuters?
Well, I suppose Ms. Poe's comment has its own merit. However, we do need to understand that the one in charge is LTFRB, and we go by that.
Okay, other issue? Jen Rosales.
Good morning.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, Senate President Pimentel told Malacañang that the executive should not force or pin them down into passing the tax reform bill in full. What is the palace statement on this? Are we pushing the lawmakers to pass train? And yung pagtutulak ba natin ng train na ito sobra-sobra na?
I don't know about using the words pushing and any of these matters. However, we do need reforms. So I think there should be a sort of give and take between the House and the executive.
But if hindi siya mapasa in full, will the President appeal to lawmakers to at least amend it?
That will be up to the President, whether to appeal or not, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Other issue? Yeah, please state
Yes,
your name, please.
Good morning, sir.
Yes,
Diana
ma'am.
Escapante po from Manila Times.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, about the postponement of the barangay and SK elections,
Yes, ma'am.
it was said that it has to be postponed to rid the barangay level of narco politicians and drug money, and yet there's a statement from the president that it's very hard, it's tough to eradicate the drug problem in 6 years. So how do you reconcile his statement that it's very hard 6 years is not enough to address the drug problem, and yet you have he is pushing for the postponement to address the drug problem at the barangay level? So how does the postponement of the barangay elections exactly help in eradicating
First
drugs?
and foremost, we need to understand that the President is really deeply committed to the transformation of the social structures of the nation, especially institutions like these. If we remember right, if memory serves us right, PRD's position regarding this is to avoid, regarding the postponement, is to avoid the use of drug money for the election of barangay officials, which are linked or who are linked to the illegal drug trade. In the meantime, the DILG he also works in conjunction with the DILG, which is tasked to look into the alleged involvement of narco politicians. In other words, work does not stop. The continued efforts to stop narco politicians does not stop. It just so happens also that it is one of the realities on the ground that narcotics is deeply embedded within the society. However, that does not stop the President's efforts. And one of this is to make sure that drug money does not legalize, drug money used for re-election will not be used to legalize the legalized entry of a new set of narco politicians.
Okay, follow up? Other issue? Pia Gutierrez.
Good morning, sir. Sir,
Yes.
the reason why the issue of on Uber and Grab is such a big issue with the public is because of the strong dissatisfaction of the public with the taxi service.
Yes.
Sir, is the palace satisfied with the LTFRB's action to address naman yung current state of taxis?
I don't know if the word satisfied is the apt word to use, but however, that is what we have. You know, it is the president, it is the executive arm implementing its own form of reforms. So I don't have the word is satisfied, but that is what we have, and we stand by that.
Okay, follow up? Other issue, Rosalie Cos? Okay na?
Okay.
Pia?
Sir, could we just get an update on the 3 DILG undersecretaries, which some DILG personnel asked the president to fire because apparently the DILG is waiting for word from Malacañang. The letter was already, they're waiting for advice from the Office of the Executive Secretary on their status because their roles are currently being shared by other officials.
We will update you on that. We will take note of the question. We'll update you on that as soon as possible, yes.
And sir, next question still on the DILG. There's a provision in a law, Republic Act number 6975, prohibiting an AFP chief from taking on the post of secretary within a year of his retirement. Given this, what will the president do since he plans to appoint AFP Chief Anyo to the post of DILG secretary? Is he considering other people for the role given the provision in the law?
He did make mention of General Anyo, and he was also made aware of the provision, and I'm sure he has an alternative solution regarding the matter, or he will be able to, in order to be able to address the matters.
Sir, is Gibochadoro being considered for the post?
I don't have details of the meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Malacañang Press Corps. Pia, sige, last question na.
Sir, it appears that despite the LTFRB's order to suspend operations, nagpatuloy pa rin, sir, ang Uber with its operations today. And the latest development is that LTFRB is still ordering the MMDA, the HPG, and the LTO to apprehend Uber units following their reactivation. Is the palace behind this move by the LTFRB, despite fears na baka magkagulo in the streets and this would cause, chaos among the passengers na
Are you asking if the palace
are you supporting this move by the LTFRB, sir?
Well, the LTFRB is under the Office of the President, right? So, yes, we support that.
But there are fears, sir, na baka magkagulo in the streets.
It will have to be handled with discretion.